Welcome back to another episode of Rusted Up Garage. Let's just say this project has escalated a little bit. I'm not particularly sure how it got out of hand, but within the last hour, it has. So I'm just going to bring you guys up to speed, because the last video you watched probably was, depends on how that cut them, but it's probably like, I don't know, one of them. But the last video you watched on this probably was us cutting up the firewall to putting the air conditioning unit in and starting to prep that out, maybe. That's probably what it is. So, anyways, we have prep for that. That's nice. And the plan was to have this car going to sick week in 20 days. Well, let's say that that's probably not going to happen now. So we're going to have to take the truck, which is fine. Still going sick week. We're still going to bring you on an adventure of a lifetime. It's going to be great. Honestly, it'll be a little more cozy for Zach and I as we can sit in the truck with the air conditioning that's actually working, because this one's not yet. And we can, anyways, back to my story, okay? Let's talk about the escalation of this. And as we're talking about escalation, we are gaining people. I don't know why that brought me up, but continue to like and share and clicking the bleep bloop buttons. You know, we're getting there. I think we're up over 50, halfway to our 100, and we can finally name it. So we're getting some traction. We knew it was going to take a little while to get our name out there, but you know, we're getting there, and we're going to keep working on stuff. So we're going to call this working on it. But anyways, so what happened was we started looking over the old girl and realizing that she was dripping in a few places. And when I'm talking about dripping, I mean it was leaking. I mean, the oil was basically coming out the back of the engine at a higher rate of speed, and it was progressively gaining traction on its exit. So these old motors had what was called rope seals, which this one probably don't have one anymore. It's probably gone. But obviously this thing sat up for a very long time, and then she was resurrected. She was woke up. Well, after it was woke up, they drove it for a little bit, and then we purchased it. And then we drove it. Well, in that time of waking up, the seals are, you know, doing their seal thing. And, say the rear one's not. So, really the best solution for this is to replace the seal. Well, to replace the seal, we really need to just pull the motor, because we're going to put a transmission in it. We're going to put a new modern 4L60 in it, because we want overdrive and we want park, because this thing come with me. So the idea behind this now molested 55 Oldsmobile, because it was pretty unmolested when we got it. I understand that someone, it's only original once. It's not original anymore. Okay, let's just get that out there. Okay. I'm not messing with the paint, and I'm not messing with the interior. From the outside, we're unmolesting it. No, we're just not molesting it. Whatever. We probably should stop saying molesting. Probably. But what our goal is we want a driver. I want something that we can just go, breathe on the key, she fires up, I put it in drive, and I can go run this thing 1,000 miles without having to think about, is the brakes going to work? Is the rear end going to come out? The shock's going to fall off? You know, just multiple issues. So we opted, like I said, not to take this in sick week. We're getting it ready for Hot Rod Power Tour, which is, you know, what we originally got the car for. So in order to do that, we're going to lift the motor, pull the transmission. We're going to the rear end, new springs, new front end. So basically, she's going to be new through here. New. And the other thing too is that this thing is a greasy mess. This thing is greasy. I can't even explain to you the grease that's involved. There's probably 16 tubes of grease smeared from about here to there. It's bad, okay? I mean, I was using a shovel, and I was scraping it off with a shovel. It's that thick. So, like I said, it escalated. I'm like, Zach, we probably ought to break out the camera since we're doing all this. But anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're going to continue to work on pulling the motor out. Zach has already pulled out the radiator, which you can kind of see, and the supports. We're up underneath it. I just drained all the fluids out of it. We're gonna do a few bolts, and basically we're just gonna get up out of here, lift it up, break transmission off of it, well, unbolt transmission off of it, and then the motor is gonna go to the engine shop. And another cool thing is while we're there, the heads have soft seats in it because that's what they did in 1955. And so this will give us a chance to get the heads done. We can put hardened seats in it. We can run more modern gas. We don't have to run lead additive, which you're not allowed to run on the road. But you kind of have to for these older engines. So there's a lot of benefits to just doing it. And at this point, we've already ordered all the parts. So it has all new leafs coming. I have new springs coming. The rear end's half here. We put a quick performance rear end in it. Well, we're working on it. It's going to be full wheel disc brake. I mean, this thing will stop on a dime and give you back 50 cents. That don't make no sense. You get it. You understand, okay? So anyways, I need you guys to keep sharing this video. I need you guys to keep liking videos, and we're going to keep doing some content of sorts. And it is raining like good here. This is going to make all this fun because forklift's outside, it's all wet. We're going to have it's going to suck. Yeah, the snow is supposed to be coming in a couple days. To kind of give you a date of this video, you know, it's supposed to snow possibly tomorrow or Monday, which is good. If you lived up north, which we don't, we live in Alabama. So, but anyways, I'm going to stop chatting and blasting your ear off, and we're going to just get to work. We're going to do what we do. We're going to get greasy, because you don't have a choice with this thing. You're like, oh, look, I'm greasy, I walk by it. So, cool guys. Let's get at it, Zach. Are you showing him the grease pit? All the grease. She's got some grease. All the grease. Grease for days. Grease for days. And honestly, I'm glad we have this wildfire lift. Because without this wildfire lift, this job would suck. So, get yourself a wildfire lift. Welcome back. It is day deuce. And we are here on the 55. And if you remember right earlier in the video, I said that this project escalated somehow. Well, as you can see, you know, we've basically unbolted everything. And we have an engine plate on it. And we have a forklift sitting here. And I guess what we're going to do next is we're going to pull the motor. Like I said, it was, you know, I told you guys earlier in the video that we're having a lot of leaks and stuff. And at this point, I just don't feel it's ready for sick week. And I don't want to be breaking down and having a lot of problems. And I don't want to ruin what we have. Because, I mean, I could easily just stick, you know, 455 Olds in this thing, or I could put an LS in it. But that ain't my goal with the car. My goal with the car is to keep the 324 in it. We are going to modernize the transmission, the rear end, the brakes, the drivability of it. And we are going to rebuild this motor. But I really want to, when I pop the hood, basically have the original 324 in it. So we just didn't want to take the chance of messing that motor up. To us, it was not worth the gamble with the way it was leaking. So, as you can see, we are pretty much ready to pull it. We are going to put the camera on time lapse. And if you remember the last time lapse, when we pulled the motor out of the last Oldsmobile wagon, which is sitting out back, and it will be coming back to the channel. I know I got a little derailed, but just that's how projects go. You know, when you're trying to get parts, and you're trying to get stuff in, some projects just have to take a back seat. So that's where that one's at. But if you guys watched that first video and you remember when we were snagging on the motor and lifting it and pulling it and yanking it and it wouldn't come out, okay? This is round 2, new car, and we got to be a little more ginger with this one. The last one, you know, we got a little rough with. And this one, we can't. So, again, we're gonna get the forklift ready, put you on some time lapse, and we're gonna snap the motor out. Everything's unbolted because it's like 3 bolts and 2 wires, and the motor's just like freewheeling. There's nothing there. They're so simple back in the day. So last night we got all that done. It got too cold and dark, so we just figured we'd wait for it brighter day today. Back in here, we're gonna lift the motor up out of it, and then we can show you this grease pit, also known as an engine bay. And we'll take it to the next step, because then the motor's to the machine shop. So, well, that time lapse is up. Can you see my sound? Can you lay your peepers on my sound? Yes. Okay. We're good. Zach has to sneeze. Okay.
I had to catch my breath. Managing that transmission.
Whew, I know it was a lot of work managing a transmission.
That transmission is heavy.
It's hooked to a forklift.
But it's heavy.
Okay, I will say that our forklift engine removal process was way smoother than the last engine. I mean, it was like, we had one bracket that got caught right here because it stuck out past the manifold, and we tried to jockey it up. There weren't enough dump room to come up out. But other than that, that motor slipped right on out of here. But now you can come in here and you can lay the peepers out on this grease rag. I mean, you see it? It is, I don't know if it, give her all the volume. I mean, it is, I mean, she's dirty, but she's gonna get cleaned up. And now look at all the room in here. I can really do some work on the electricals, on the brake lines, on the grease, on the, just, I can build that now. I just get in here after I wash it because it is freaking disgusting. So anyways, motor and transmission's out. We're gonna run outside and we're going to lay our eyes on the old motor and transmission so you guys can see it real quick. And then at that point, I'm gonna go put some magic spray on it and let the grease ooze off of it. Wash it up. I mean, it's raining today, so we're gonna let Mother Nature do its thing. Clean it all up, then we'll nose it back in here, pop transmission off from it, pop manifolds off from it, pop the drives off from it, and then at that point, she's gotta go to the machine shop up the road. So let's run outside. Now we're outside, and if you've never seen a 324 out of a 55 Olds, you are officially seeing one. So as you can see, I mean, it just don't stop. Look at that transmission. I mean, that's serious transmission. That's for transmitting. But as you can see, the bell housing is part of the engine on this sucker. See the bell housing? So that's why to get a transmission made, it has to be special, because they got to cut the front off from it, and then they got to make this adapter bell housing to go between the 4L60 and this. So it's going to be different than a normal car, than a normal transmission. So, but I mean, this thing is nasty. We're going to soak it down and get it clean as we can before I bring it in the shop. Then it's got this dual inlet outlet exhaust manifold. So that side came to this side, and then it comes through and passes through to this side, because that is efficiency. So we're going to go ahead and delete on that. And then we're just going to, in general, clean this thing up. Get it to the machine shop and get the heads done so we can run regular fuel in it. But there she is. 324 Oldsmobile Rocket. Okay, so we've washed the motor, okay? We gave it a quick washing to get rid of the 50 pounds of grease. And then we decided we want to get the transmission split off the engine, okay? Should be easy. How many of you done that? A bunch, okay? Well, so we unbolt all the transmission bolts, try to pull the transmission. Negative, Ghost Rider. That transmission is not popping off there. So then we do a little investigation. And we find out that you have to unbolt the torque converter, or what version thingy they call a torque converter, off from the flywheel first, okay? And then the transmission comes off. No problem. Well, we find out we have a 32 bolt torque converter, because, you know, 3, 6, not enough. This 216 horsepower baby needs 32 bolts to couple it between the engine and between the flywheel. If you can see it or not, between the flywheel and that. And we've taken half the bolts off, okay?
They can see it now.
They can see it now. So there's bolts all the way around this ring. Like, I mean, there's a lot of bolts. So we started unbolting them, and we're like, God, this thing's starting to leak some oil. Then we find the plug as we're turning it around. We take the plug out, and she drops about 3 quarts of automatic transmission fluid into this mess that we have going. At least we caught it with the bucket. But now we know why there's 32 bolts, because I guess the flywheel is the back of the torque converter, and it actually keeps the oil out. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, this is silly. But yeah, so you can, we're draining it out. I'm going to pick the thing up now and try to get as much out of it as we can. Probably have to move that thing. It's draining out.
Yep.
Pretty good now.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. So now we know a little about something here. And we've learned that if you ever take a 55 Oldsmobile apart, that
Or any hydromatic transmission.
Yeah, any hydromatic cast iron case automatic transmission. I mean, I bet this transmission weighs more than a 4x4 transmission. Like, I bet this thing right here is probably gonna pop my teeth out when I try to lift it. It's gonna be heavy. So I'll be glad when we go to the 4L60. I mean, the car's gonna be like, oh my God, you lighten that transmission up. So, but yeah, no, she's cast iron. Here, that's back when cast was real too. I mean, this is no slouch of a transmission. I mean, it's a hydromatic. It says so right here on the plate. I mean, she's an odd girl. But anyways, I wanted to just document this. Like I said, we did get the motor out cleaned, pulled the transmission off, we pulled the manifolds off. You can see, it has a shared center, dump. And we're gonna get transmission off, bring it back out, wash it up, and she's ready to go to the machine shop and see what other weird crap they did to this motor. So basically everything you learned, you throw that away, you start over. I'm just glad I didn't try pulling this transmission in the car. This would have sucked royally. So,
Not to mention, this thing doesn't even have a rear support
no.
on the transmission.
No, well, you don't need one. It's so heavy. I mean, God. It's crazy. Simply crazy. But anyways, back to removing the transmission. Okay, sorry to be recording this on my phone, but I forgot the camera. So, as you can see, we have brought the rocket motor to the machine shop, and we are about to start pulling it down to see exactly what we need to order for it. So, as we pull her apart, we will be sure to record more of it, but we're pretty excited to have this thing done. Hey, look at that. We're back again. So basically, I have gotten the water pump taken off, and we pulled off the first head, and this thing really looks phenomenal. As you can see, the wear, it's pretty clean. The wear is not too bad. It's just a matter of finish getting it apart, see what else we can find in here. Yeah, no, it's looking good. I mean, overall, it's not too bad. Got a little engine pouring in there. They're running an engine in there today. So basically, here's the head. It's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty clean overall. For being a 1955, this thing is nicer than some of the newer ones today. But we're gonna keep going. Okay, so we have the pan pulled off from it, and it looks good down here. It's surprisingly not too bad. I did run through and label everything. You can see right here. See? 5, 6, 7, or wherever 7's at on this phone. Zach's gonna kill me when he sees this video. 7, 8. So I got the front cover off with the damper, and it's not bad. All considered, and I mean, overall, the sludge level really weren't too bad in this motor. You can tell it was definitely loved.
Oh, no, it's not. I just got...
So, but we're getting there. So now I'm going to drop pistons out of it and pull crank out of it and take a look at her. So, exciting. Get this thing apart so we can get her machined out and get her back together. Okay, I'm back with some more dismantlement. And so, Steve, I don't want to hear it from you. Sorry. Steve. So, I have basically ripped out the pistons, so the pistons don't work. And pulled off the old chain. So the old ball and chain is gone. So far, everything looks phenomenal. Said, here's the crankshaft. We did have a little bit of wear on the lifters, but they're not too bad. And the pistons actually look pretty good too. All the bearings look good. So that's the pistons. I got a lot of cleaning to do, I have a feeling. Which I hate, but Steve's gonna make me do it. But yeah, we're getting there. Said the pistons are all out of it. They all look decent. Not a whole lot of sludge in the oil pan. And I'm getting ready to pop crank out of it now. And we can lay the old peepers on the crank. And then we just got to run some numbers, some digits on everything with the old digital digit maker. And then we are going to order some parts up. Okay. So we did find the leak. These old motors had what was known as a rope seal. Unlike the newer motors that use rear main seals that are rubber, or sometimes rubber with a spring, they actually use what was called a rope seal. So as you can see here, this is the rope seal, and it's pretty flat. But what's happened is this motor sat for a long time. This whole car sat up for a while, and basically that is where the rope seal rides on, right there. So the issue is those pits are from moisture getting into that rope seal and then sitting. Well, we're gonna have to obviously do something to fix that. That's the reason why it was starting to leak oil so bad, and it was getting worse. So now this just confirms that I'm glad that I did pull this motor apart, because this problem weren't going away, and this problem was gonna get worse. So really, out of everything though, this is the worst problem with the whole engine. So I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna fix this yet. I'm gonna get with Tony Ross at Ross Racing Engines. They do Oldsmobile stuff, and see what he thinks. And but we're gonna get it fixed one way or another.
Post edit Ricky. First, I want to apologize. We lost a little footage in between the transmission unbolting and going to the machine shop. This stuff was done weeks ago, and we've done a bunch of stuff, and we've just had a lot going on in life, and somehow or another, we managed to misplace it. And also, we also misplaced whatever we're going to do in the end. So, I don't know, they're together. Probably on a card, rocking out on the floorboard, or center console, or it's hard to say. Could be in Zach's bedroom. But anyways, I'm just going to do end this video like this. I'll give you a quick little update. After we found all that out, I talked to Ross, and he said he could fix it. He actually fixes those blocks by basically he machines the back surfaces of it, and he actually puts a modern day seal in it. So we'll actually be getting rid of the rope seal. So that's good. We'll be on a modern seal. At the same time, we're also going to punch it out 30 to clean up cylinders. I know it only had 65,000, but you got to think about cars back then. They weren't designed to run 200, 300, 400,000 miles like today's cars. So we are going to punch it 30 to clean it up. We're also going to update the piston package. So we're going to go to a modern piston package, which allows us to go to modern rings. So modern rings will be great. That'll be beneficial, and at the same time we're going to do, obviously, put new bearings in it, do the head work like we said. So currently the motor is up in Ohio at Ross Racing Engines. I expect within the next couple weeks, maybe, actually by the time you guys watch this video I might have it back, but who knows. But basically, I just kind of wanted to give you like a little of where we ended up. I put the whole thing on a pallet, and then to Ohio. And he has it. I talked to him a couple weeks ago. It's in line to get done, and when we get it back, she won't be leaky. We're going to have to assemble it, so hopefully, I can get you some video, as long as we don't lose it. And I do apologize for that. You'll see earlier the missing video and kind of whatever, but you guys get it. So hopefully you enjoyed the 55 content. I don't know what the next video is. I think it's working on the rear end and stuff is the next video. We got a lot going on there. And then also, since we're so far ahead in the ending here, I can tell you that we got a little crazy up under the car in areas. I'm not going to really tell you. I'd love to post some pictures and stuff of what we've been doing. You don't want to miss it anyway. It's going to be cool. It wasn't cool when I decided to do this, but it's worked out. So just want to give you a little ending here, since I seem to have lost the footage, or Zach did, or maybe we just didn't record. I don't know what happened, but anyways, that's what's sweet about this. We can just go back and just add a little right in the middle and clip it in, and you guys are up to date. So anyways, thanks for sticking with us, and share this content out. Get your friends, start watching it, subscribe, hit the little bell, comment. What do you guys want to see me? I mean, you want more detail? What do you guys want? I mean, I'm going to do some detailed front end work here when we get going. Like when I start, reassembling like the new front end pieces that we talked about, because we're going to put new bearings and bushings and that crap in. Yeah, you guys haven't seen it, but we're going to be doing the front end. Obviously, we're not going to leave the worn out front end on the car. That'll be cool because, you know, it's kingpins, it's old style, it's stuff you probably have never seen in your life, unless you're old. Because I'm old now. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna stop baffling my beak here because I can talk to you guys forever because I enjoy talking. I don't know when I learned to like to talk so much, but I do. I like to talk. So just, you know, go ahead and in the old bottom comments if you want to learn something new or you want me to do something, or I mean, I can't do cartwheels or anything like that, but you know, automotively I'm pretty well sound. I can basically do whatever. So if you want to, you know, me zoom in more on, you know, something, or talk more, or do a little side video, or just let me know down there in the old writer section. So, and again, we're trying to get to 100 so we can actually name our channel. That's our whole big push. 100. I know it seems like so far, but we're like at 61 or 2 or something. It's like 40 more. I mean, it's hard to believe 61 people actually like to watch me. But anyways, thank you guys. Keep sharing. Peace out.